Hello and welcome back to Wonderland, the podcast. I'm your host, Tim, along with my co-hosts, Jake and Kelly. Y'all, this weekend was a blast. This was way better than Suzuka on track. Off the track, we had a great party that we'll get into, and we were all actually able to watch the race together this weekend. For those of us just joining, randomly picking up on this episode, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, everywhere, anywhere that you find your podcasts, and consume all of our content. There it is. That's what I meant. Also, with our content this weekend, we have a really exciting update from a very heavily viewed video that we all made together. Very artistic, high production quality. We'll get into it. Man, okay, so the chaos of this weekend, we had, like I said, a very enjoyable weekend compared to Suzuka. It was real racing. There were overtakes. We were screaming at the TV. Jake and Kelly were screaming at Yuki specifically. We have a lot to unpack today, so let's jump into things. We're going to start with Jake with a little weekend update, creator corner, sponsor plug. Then we'll jump down into a recap of the race with Kelly, a points breakdown, maybe a little bit of a fantasy update from all of us. Tim tried again, and don't want to spoil much, but we're no longer double digis. And we'll get in box banter, hydration station, Tim's take with little Will Buxton situation, and then a little see you later for next week. How we feeling, gang? Jake, Kelly?
Ready.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very grateful. I'm feeling a little exhausted after yesterday. This weekend, we did all watch the race together. So super shout out to Kelly's wife and Kelly, the whole household, for hosting us and our friends. We got to watch the pre-race together. We watched the race together. We got to make TikToks and Reels, which was such an amazing experience.
And we can't oversell like how much Kelly and her wife hosted us. They decked out their house. There was like a racetrack on the floor. There were checkered flags everywhere. They had Red Bull things, an actual papaya.
Which, mind you, Kelly had texted us and said, Jess is 100% in with the decorations, and sends us a video of her truly, showing Kelly. She was like, we have to get these. And they were Red Bull cans. And Kelly was like, why? And she was like, because Red Bull. So then I made some snarky joke about those are so unhealthy for you. What is healthy is a papaya. And I walk in and Kelly full on greets me with a childlike papaya. Like I held it like a newborn. So it was such a great time. So thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Jess, for having us. It was so great.
Jess was in full wag mode. So wife and girlfriend wag, she loves a theme. She was very committed. My heart Red Bull isn't necessarily my team, but when she saw the Red Bull and was just gravitating, I was like, oh my God, what is she doing?
This is a pivotal moment.
You know that's a team? Oh my God, I've never loved you more in my whole life. So
she's such a star too. She is so proud of us and specifically so proud of you. But then at the same time, she's wanting to learn. But then at the same time, she's like, that's too much.
It's too much. I can't handle it. Yeah.
She asked me, she was like, wait, what just happened? It was when Kimi overtook Max. And that's such
we were all losing our minds.
And she's like, what happened? I was like, see that's, Lewis's replacement in that seat. And she's like, I don't care. I'm like, okay, noted. Got it.
Yep.
But like I said, while we were all together, we made some pretty iconic TikToks and Reels, if I do say so, for ourselves. You can go check those out now. They are live. We have a few more in the queue to share with you that I think you'll enjoy. Make sure that you're following us on TikTok and Instagram. That's where you can see them. You can also see them on YouTube Shorts. So if you aren't subscribed to us on YouTube, go ahead, click that subscribe button.
Subscribe button.
Yeah. And then also, once you hit subscribe, you can see you'll see them anyway, but you'll see them more if you're subscribed to us. The shorts are on there. I did want to point out that our closed captioning is immediate as soon as it gets processed on YouTube. Again, I don't really know how that works on Spotify. I haven't been able to see an option to make that available, but if you know how, please, send us a message. I would love to make that accessible for everyone as well. But like I said, it is up to date on YouTube. Speaking of friends as well, we're still looking for a BFF to sponsor us along the ride for Wonderland. So if you or someone you know is a part of a brand that wants to reach out to passionate nerds like ourselves and our listeners, please hit us up, because we got a lot of great feedback yesterday from our friends and family that came to watch the race with us. Just little things here and there that could make the podcast better. And if you weren't a part of that yesterday with us, we would still love you to be a part of that with us virtually. So send us a message and we'll take your feedback. Y'all ready to talk about this weekend?
Yes, please. The rain in Bahrain stayed mainly on the plane.
And that, my friend, was a My Fair Lady reference.
There we go. Do you even know what that is, Kelly? You don't even know. You can't even. That's not even gymnastics.
I'm sorry. Have you watched Wicked yet?
It's
pretty
streaming.
Sure. Unless you spent the 8 hours that we didn't see you between yesterday and today, and 3 of those being Wicked, I'm pretty sure you have no room to talk.
Okay, I'll take it.
That kind of segues us perfectly into our little PP.
This is something that developed while we were working today, and I barely had my phone on. So can we just break this down?
A little PP did not just develop while I was working. Listen,
What is the PP? Tell us about the PP, Jake.
Do we need like a content warning again? Because last week was T's and P's.
I took
that was more
down
scientific.
This is not.
That was for science.
I make sure to hit this is not for children. So if you're 18 and below, that's on you. PP in this sense stands for pity party.
Yes.
And so let's just talk about it. Lando did not have a great qualifying. It was Oscar and Lando top of the times for practices and qualifying, but it came down to Q3 and he kind of shit the bed, to be just completely blunt.
He completely blew out his skid plate in his pants.
Tim, you and the skid plates.
I was like, wait, did he? Oh, metaphorically speaking?
But
testicular torsion last week, shitted pants this week.
Yeah.
No.
So it did not go well for him. Oscar got pole position. But in the race interviews the post-qualifying interviews, Lando was a little sad boy. And I sent something to the group saying, this is why I really appreciate Lando, is because he is so hard on himself. He wears his heart on his sleeve. I identify with that. And Kelly's response simply was, I can't stand Lando's pity parties.
Well, sort of. It was, I don't know that I love pity party Lando.
But Jake, okay, question is, Jake, do you like a sad boy? Is that why we're resonating?
I think I'm a sad boy. So I just resonate to that. But I also sent a video of Lewis Hamilton, who had a very same tone. Pity party.
A little bit of
Lewis.
a little. Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
And here's my point. I see what you're saying, Kelly.
There was a but there. There was a but there, Tim.
I'm gonna let Jake finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay. Here's my 2 cents, and then I'll give up the mic. I get what you're saying, Kelly, and honestly, through the race, his post-race interview, I did not like the sad boy Lando. He still was pity party. I'm still not happy I could have came in second. Bish, you went from P6 to P3 and had a 5-second grid penalty. Grid box penalty.
You did good.
You kind of did good. So stop cut the crap. But after practice, I do think that Lando's biggest weakness is himself. And I think that he gets in his head. And I think the pressure from, and what I said to you yesterday, like at the pool, was I think Lando and Lewis allowed their fandom to affect their mental, whereas Max Verstappen doesn't really give a fuck. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, I think he appreciates his fans, but if he's getting called X, Y, and Z on the internet, he doesn't care. Whereas Lando
he's a
and
sim
Lewis,
racing guy too, so like he's seen the worst of it, and people in like who are watching him actually race have nothing on internet trolls.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I feel for him. I think there's a time and place, and after the race, I was not a fan, but after qualifying, I was. But you know, I love PPs, so
I just like didn't think it warranted that big of a pity party. Like also qualification this year is so tight. So if you even just go look at the timesheets to say like, okay, Oscar put in a 129.884 and Lando put in a 132.
She has the receipts. She came prepared, and so did I.
It is
so did I.
So small. Like, yes, that's 6 places, but I mean, that's what, 4/10 off from pole. Like, you're not off that hard. And if you made a mistake, you can't make a mistake. You basically have to have a perfect lap to get on pole, even in the best car. So that's the first thing. I'm like, meh. 6th place, yes, you weren't that far off. Second, you're still leading the world championship. Like, you can't throw a pity party. But for yourself in first place. Like, no one's going to feel sorry
in the season
for you.
too. Like, it's hard to be like, oh, this is their season, they're going to do this, and not like we have in our show all season just because it's fun. But I think it's like people. I feel like more and more people online are like realizing, more of the podcasters, I'll say, are what I'm seeing in the content I'm consuming is like, they're like, oh yeah, we kind of realized it is only 4 races in. We can't do that. And that's where I feel like with Lewis having a pity party, there was so much, I feel like, I don't know. I want to hear y'all's opinion on this. I feel like Lewis has even more pressure because he has the expectation, the want of, and the pressure of getting number 8, which would break all the records ever. He's doing it and then he could retire, right? Theoretically. Lando just needs to, I feel like being sad about one race, he just needs to kind of buck up and like race. He is a very good driver. He has the best car on the grid. He also has the best teammate on the grid, the other best driver on the grid in that car.
2 number 1 drivers.
So you got 2 number 1 drivers. I just,
I
think
Jake?
it's too early to be sad about it because they're top of the constructors, top of the drivers. They're fine.
Totally.
Yeah.
I also think,
Papaya.
okay. And to the point, like he started talking about like the team is doing great. The people at the factory have done people at the factory that I apparently don't care for. No, I do care for the people at the factory.
You hear that, factory?
Course. Factory.
That's about to be us in 3 years.
No, but like he starts talking about all of that. And I'm like, you're also the face of them. Like, exude some confidence. I know like there's a helmet on, helmet off. He's a human, and there's a level of like, dude, you've got a fast car. You're a great driver. Like, instill some confidence in yourself, even if you're like playing the game in the media.
I think, are you talking specifically about Lando in that moment? I think where I see your point, but I think the flip side of that is taking accountability for messing up and saying the guys work so hard and I feel like I've let them down. Like he said, I let the team down.
Yeah.
And so, again, to what I said before, I think there's a time and place, and whether you agree or, resonate, that's up to the fan, and your perception of it. But I think I'll just speak to, I think Lewis and Lando, why I personally love them so much is they wear their heart on their sleeve. And, historically, that's not a great quality to have as a world champion. just based off of pure instinct of emotion, and making decisions that matter.
Well, it's worked for Lewis so far, but Lando, it's yet to be proven. Kelly, you said it makes him human. Can we jump to our favorite resident non-human on the grid, George Russell, our favorite robot from the weekend?
Sure, let's do it.
Drove a wicked race, right?
Yeah.
I feel like again, podium again. Has he podiumed every weekend?
Yeah.
No,
but he's been
except for
points
one
every weekend. Sorry,
No.
points every weekend.
He hasn't gotten lower than P6. Remember when we were like, he hasn't gotten lower than P6? He still has not gotten lower than P6.
Yes. The reason why I want to talk about him, though, not his driving this weekend, though it was fine. And there was a lot of different kind of like strategy in terms of pit stops and how the track was doing. He seemed pleased with his tires, I think, this week.
Stop it. That's so real. Every tire. He's just so giddy.
But you just gotta hold it and then just like squeeze the orange part of it, Jake, because that's what he's been doing. But his jacket this weekend, I loved the inflatable cooling jacket that he wore all weekend. Jake and I were talking about it at your house. It was the silver Adidas. It was like really shiny and poofy.
That's a team kit.
But it has fans on the inside of it that keep him cool.
That's
Did
amazing.
you know that? Yeah.
Love.
I thought that was pretty neat. Love. Jake, can you talk about what you're doing with your microphone just for the listeners who may not be watching?
Oh, yeah. I was just gripping my microphone and then tossing it to side as George does in every post-qualifying or race interview. We have a section in hydration station that will get a little bit more into George. But yeah, I grabbed my microphone and was tossing it back and forth, very sly and,
It's so funny. It's like he's like a little kid. He has ants in his pants. He's like, it's me. I get to get
I'm
interviewed.
Fidgeting with this freaking thing, so I can't imagine what I'd be doing with a microphone in front of millions of people.
I think we are being haters. I think the internet is being haters. I think that I was talking to Kelly yesterday. I was like, he just has an ick about him that it's nothing really like against him. He's a great driver. I think he has a great attitude. He obviously performs. There's just something like air about him that I'm like, that's cringy. Like, I don't like that. But good for him. He's been in the points every weekend, so
he's consistent.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had some like pre-pity party. Sorry, we had to bring it up, Jake. But
it's okay. I told you I love a PP.
It's never gonna get old. Just like my skid mark jokes, right? Right.
Right. Then the race comes. Oscar Piastri took pole position. Watching the first turn live together was electric. We had a race this time.
Wild.
Y'all talk me through what you saw in the first lights out, then first turn, first lap.
Jake, would you care to start?
Sure. I mean, I was standing behind the island, like by the sink, watching the start of this. And we all knew that the start was going to be probably a lot more exciting than Japan because it's a long way to turn one. And just the way the circuit is laid out, it is meant for overtaking and racing. And we just saw, I mean, I was looking at Lando coming from P6. This is before I knew that he was ahead of his grid box. But I don't know. That's kind of like where I was like, I need him to have a fire under his ass all the time, even when he's P1 and starting pole. Because like when he is in the underdog position, he always tends to do well and like come back. But it's when he's leading that he can't hold on to the first lap, which I mean, he has done now. So I want to acknowledge that, but
curse is
it's
broken.
Still the same kind of like mentality. Oscar, I knew if he got to turn one, quickest, he would win the race, which he did.
Took off like a rocket ship.
But I was very surprised at Kimi and the Ferraris and I guess George, but I wasn't really caring. I wasn't watching him as much. But I was very impressed with Kimi and the Ferraris in that first few moments of the race.
Yeah, it was super exciting going into turn one. I mean, even having Max in the mix, not up in front, was awesome. I love when he starts middle of the pack, just because he is a master overtaker. And because this circuit had so many opportunities for that, we saw him quickly kind of
go down to P20, which was great.
Yes. But I thought it was a great weekend, honestly, for Ferrari. It wasn't perfect, but to have double points and everybody finished relatively high was pretty nice. That first turn, God, I'm like thinking back. I felt like yesterday there was so much excitement about just being in person. But it was just exciting to see like some actual action take place and see that there were 4 maybe cars that going into turn one could have taken it from Oscar, but he again is driving elbows out, and God, he looks great in the front of the pack. He had a Max Verstappen weekend of like he finished 15 seconds in front of everybody. Nobody even saw him finish on TV if we were watching the Sky ESPN broadcast.
We think he looked great, but they weren't even showing him. He was just in his own realm.
Watching Lando try to track George down, but yeah, turn one was great.
Yeah.
Kimi.
Love.
Let's talk about Kimi.
Kimi, please.
I love him.
I don't know if I've screamed in a race like that yet this season when he overtook Max.
Max
took it back, and Kimi was just like, "Oh, it's okay, Max. I will come and take it back from you. Goodbye, ciao."
I was watching F1 last night. I rewatched it last night just to be a little bit more fresh, and Kelly was watching it too. And when I really don't like the F1 commentators. I mean, I don't like Julian Palmer. He really gets under my skin. He has a hard on for Max 100% of the time, and it's just like not enjoyable to listen to. And they were making like comparisons to Max the entire race when Max was still in the back of the pack. I'm like, let's talk about something else, please. Like, please. And I was just waiting for the moment that Kimi overtook Max just to see what they would say. And they were so quiet. They were so quiet. And for me, I was just like, thank you. But I do want to shout out both of you guys for dealing with my like hatred of like live viewing of like Max, and I think a lot of it comes from the commentators, because yesterday, full warning, it wasn't a Max race, but I was watching Sky with you guys and I felt like the commentary was great.
I like Sky.
So,
it's pretty good.
I'm not hating on F1 TV. I think there are great people on there. It's just Julian Palmer for me is not my cup of tea, but I'm sure he's a wonderful guy. I don't know if he was a wonderful race car driver, but
me.
Yeah.
It's the factory workers for me. Yeah. I'm sure they're great. That is just it's going to go so far and so bad. I do think you should probably start listening to Sky, because I don't know if it's great for your mental health to listen to F1 anymore, because
probably not.
I don't even know why they were really.
And Crofty is like so much of the vibe for me.
So good. I agree. Even if wasn't Julian on Sky last week, or was it someone else?
Couldn't tell you.
Listen, he is a former F1 driver and he has great knowledge. I'm not going to like say that he's not credible at his job. I just don't like his approach and the way that it always goes back to Max and how he used to drive.
Okay, so this for me is like commentators when I watch gymnastics, or commentators for like any sport that you actually know a lot about. I will watch gymnastics on mute because I just don't need to hear it, because the commentator's job, while it is to comment on what's happening, there's also context for viewers who may or may not know certain things. Like, I've never driven an F1 car. So I need some sort of, like, someone's going to have to tell me something about, like, what's happening there.
Or like, what is downforce? Like,
right.
Like.
But then there's also the person who's too close to it. So, like, there is the commentator who is like, to your point, Tim Crofty, so fun. And he's like, what if they did a strategy like this? And there was a commentator last week and he was like, no, he wouldn't do that. That's dumb. Basically,
you got to have fun with it. You have to know that it's entertainment. At that point, It can't be all about business and work and this. It can't all be heavy afterwards because that's what makes it not fun to listen to.
Right.
Or not as engaging. But there's a way to do that and still be technical and still be an expert and showcase everything you know. And it's...
Yeah.
I
agree.
It's like what we do.
Okay.
We're so good at it.
So we loved when Kimi overtook. Kimi, I mean, it's weird to say that you can tell that Kimi, he is just fearless in that car. It's weird for me to be like, I watch him drive and I'm like, whoa, this kid's fearless.
Yeah.
I don't, like, isn't that weird?
Toto's found another Lewis, which is, I feel comfortable saying that. I think he has, and I think I just can't believe he's done it again.
Yeah, it's crazy. I do feel bad for him. The pit stop with the yellow flag, he was doing so good, pitted a little early, didn't get the benefit of a free pit stop under yellow, and then really couldn't recover from there, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
But his finishing place has nothing to do with how wild he drove that car.
It came down to strategy and basically luck at that point. The strategy of the team wasn't great, and then the luck of the safety car, where literally everyone on the grid got to pit for free, did not help him at all.
Tim, your team, how'd Ferrari fare?
Overall, I'd probably give them a B+ for the weekend, maybe a solid B. It was still good points, but I felt like their tire strategy was not great. I can't remember fully. I think they went medium, hard, medium, right?
No, they went
or medium.
They went. It was hard at the end, and it was not great.
Yes. So, yeah, that's what it was. So pitting after the mediums at the beginning of the race into going into hards, especially with like the free pit stop that they had, I was frustrated because it really put them in a terrible position at the end of the race to overtake at all when most of the track was on mediums. And so I think, again, I'd have to go back and watch everything again, but I remember being really upset that they had done they double pitted and put them both on hards, and it just did not really work the way they wanted it to.
Well, they had like 26 laps left. Like, it was like, why are you putting them on a hard?
Yeah, it's going to take so long to warm up and get any kind of grip. This is me
as like someone that has never been in an F1 car or had any sort of play in calling strategy. But like, again, the three of us, I think, would not put a hard on 26 laps to go.
No, and it was kind of brutal to watch Lewis try to fight off Kimi when Kimi had fresh mediums and Lewis was just fighting to get any kind of anything out of those tires at the end of the race. So that was a little bit brutal. I don't know. I felt like it was fine.
How do you think, I know that your Lando is Lewis. I want to know your thoughts on Charles and how you thought he did yesterday.
Honestly, I feel like Charles is in some ways similar to a George, except no hate and no, like, there's no ick or cringe with him. I feel like this season he's been really consistent, and he's carrying Ferrari and in Lewis's transition season. And he's always been great, minus the Monaco curse that he broke, which is fantastic. But I don't know. I feel like they got lucky. The car is solid this year. I don't know if it's really the season that we wanted to see from them in terms of like first season with Lewis, and I don't know. The longer this season goes on, the more I'm kind of hedging my bets on 26 for Lewis, just because of the adjustment period. He's getting used to this car. I don't think anybody except for Toto expected Kimi to come out swinging like he has, and so that's just more competition that from the rookies than, I think some of the veteran drivers could have come into this season as like, okay, 6 spots are rookies. This could mean good news for me just because I've been out here for a while and I know how to drive these tracks and everything and drive this car specifically, but I don't know. Is that clear at all, or is it too wishy-washy Midwestern? I like all of them. They're all good, nice young men.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, obviously, I was not a big fan of watching my fave and my other fave fight each other for that third position. I love Charles. I think he's a brilliant driver, and I think that he doesn't get enough credit for, where he is and what he's doing this season. But I, to your point, I think that Ferrari, the media and the fandom and even themselves kind of put them on a pedestal this year for them to do nothing but fall. And it's really no one's fault but ours. No one knows what it's like to switch a car. I mean, Carlos said it in a pre-race interview. If you expect to be on podiums in 3 races, like, basically go learn another sport because this is not how it works. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair statement. Kelly, did you have thoughts on that?
No. I mean, I think Lewis said it best. Someone asked, like, was I just being that one guy? I was like, no.
No,
anyways,
I loved it.
I think Lewis said it best. Someone asked him, like, what do you say to your fans who are waiting for that Lewis magic? And he's like, don't. Yeah. Like, you just don't understand the transition, what it takes to grow up in a system of a car and then change everything to drive something else. So yeah, I think Leclerc is going to keep doing great because because he's grown up in this car and the car's pretty solid. Their strategy has been the thing that's really not helped them. But I think everything goes to 0 next year, which will be interesting.
Yeah.
So.
And I'd also like to retract some of the sad boy energy that I had around Lewis for this season, because it is still early on in the season. It is so crazy early. And they've already demonstrated some success, like with the sprint race. And they clearly have a car that can compete better than last year's car and way better than 2 years ago.
Yeah, especially when it's underweight too.
By a kilo, I mean,
that's great.
My other Lando, who is Carlos Sainz, my heart broke because.
Okay, can we talk about this?
Please, let's get into it.
Can we talk about it? I have
scared.
2 words.
Actually, I'm scared.
Yeah,
you already know the 2 words.
Cover your ears, children.
It was on the radio.
Can I say it, or should I just
say it? We'll just have to fine you $30,000.
Fuck Yuki.
I love Yuki.
Now, before anyone comes for me, I do love Yuki. I loved him better when he was in a white car and not a blue car. But when it comes to Daddy Sainz, don't fuck around with Daddy Sainz.
We don't fuck with Carl.
And
also, Carl's in a blue car.
I was talking shit online last night, which I love to do.
Jacob.
What? We have like 11,000 views on that TikTok. So I'm just trying to keep it like relevant. I said, fuck Yuki. And someone was like, I don't really think it was his fault. And I was like, I mean, he ran into him. So it was.
Hold up. I got to make a quick correction. It is 5:48 on Monday, April 14th. We have 18.2 thousand views on our Papaya video.
Live, laugh, love. Go ahead and look at it and give it one more because that support is great. We'll put it here for everyone right now.
Okay.
But
did they show Yuki running into a side pod?
He oversteered a little bit and like nicked him. It wasn't like he was I mean, I guess he was defending, but it didn't look super intentional. Not that I think that anyone intentionally wants to ram someone's car, but it didn't look it looked like a missed fortunate placement with an
Sure.
oversteer kind of, which I
Sure.
guess is what accidents are, is like they're not, I don't think any one of them wants to wreck their cars or
I
someone
just
else.
re-entered the conversation from like looking at all the numbers on TikTok and heard Jake just define like
And I was like,
catch
so you're
himself.
defining an accident.
I think he
But
just
what I'm
mansplained himself.
But what I'm saying, if I can mansplain some more, is I fucking hate Yuki taking out Carlos Sainz, scoring points for Red Bull, and causing a yellow flag that also fucked up my boy Kimi.
This is true.
And
There was
but let's also like bring it back before I get too heated. That all of this anger, yes, some goes to Red Bull and Yuki, but it really goes to the FIA. So fuck the FIA too.
Yeah.
Fuck
Well,
the FIA
that's a very bad-
Yes.
for inconsistent calls. Fuck them for
late calls.
late calls. How can you have a mirror that punctured 3 vehicle cars last season and not call a yellow, but then you call a yellow late because of this debris?
No empathy for tummy issues. That's 3 red
Yeah.
flags for you right there in a
For
partner.
real.
They
You
are
can't say
inconsistent.
Not
fuck.
the tummy.
They are not communicating, and they have no empathy for tummy issues.
Or they won't allow the drivers to cuss. So fuck the FIA, since
Oh.
I'm not a part of.
Yeah, I don't want to say
also don't
fuck
have
Yuki.
30,000.
I love Yuki, but
I just don't fuck with Red Bull. So he
Also,
kind
you
of
said
did that.
Yuki nicked the Williams. If that is a nick, I don't want to know what happens to the
We have-
Williams if it gets in a real
In a-
accident.
gets
We have a
gorged.
picture. We'll put it up right now because that
And
is
what
not.
is in those things? I was like,
It's just
what?
carbon fiber.
Just
Yeah.
around. That's
That is
just
it.
for
skeleton. Yeah, it's like hollow, like an Easter egg.
yeah.
Like an Easter egg.
Just-
like my
Um,
heart.
Can we go back to the FIA real quick?
Yeah.
Please.
I also don't like. I mean, maybe it's the FIA, maybe it's F1. I don't really know.
Should we rename this podcast to F1 Gripes? Or
yeah, because
Yeah.
well,
um,
I
Fuck
think
the
this-
FIA.
I think this is it's been happening all season. The graphics, the times,
Oh.
and
Oh my
what
God.
Oh,
is
this
up
is
with
brutal.
like. So I don't know if that's the FIA, but there had to be something along the lines with
we're gonna
We can
fight
blame
on
it on them.
FIA.
Yeah, George going
Or
from second to
F1.
20th to second to 20th
Yeah,
to third to
because of
second
his
again.
sensors or whatever. Also,
yeah.
there could be an or like there's a pending. I don't know if it's going to happen, but penalty on George for using DRS when he wasn't supposed to use DRS. He said he was pressing all the buttons, nothing was working, and he pressed a button and DRS opened. So as of
Oops.
5:52 on Monday post race, we haven't seen a penalty come through. However, that is
I
something
think
that
they
is
said he pressed the radio button and DRS opened, and then he got a 0.2 advantage, but then he ended up slowing down 0.28. So he didn't gain an advantage. I don't think that he's getting anything because the
I don't-
FIA is just like
all over the
willy-nilly
place.
out there.
But
you know?
also the graphics, just put the times up. I don't care what's happening with George, but just put the damn times up. I don't care. I
It
just
is
want to see the times.
Wild this year.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, whoa.
Aren't things supposed to get
what are
better
the
when you have more
times?
money and viewership? What are we fucking around with? Is this
Well,
like
it is
guy budget cuts?
2025.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, enough of the griping. I'm sorry for bringing
And-
it down.
All right. Sad boy
Here are the
Monday.
standings.
Here are
Take
the
us
standings.
home.
So the results of the race, we had Oscar in first, George second, Lando finishing that podium in third, followed by Charles, Lewis, Max, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon. Catch it?
Four.
Yuki Tsunoda, Ollie Behrman, Kimi Antonelli, Alex Albon, Isaac Hadjar, Jack Doohan, Fernando Alonso, Liam Lawson, Lance Stroll, Gabriel Bortoleto, Carlos Sainz, who did not finish, and Nico Hulkenberg, who was disqualified for a skid plate. Tim's favorite. That leaves us with our standings. I do want to give a special shout out to our fastest lap, Oscar Piastri, who just dominated the entire race with a time of 1:35.140. And our driver of the day was Lewis Hamilton. Do you guys have thoughts on that?
I did not see that. I am I
I
like
mean-
that he got recognized because I love him, but I mean, Ollie Behrman went 20th to 10th.
Yeah.
We said it yesterday. I think it's a popularity. We know it's a popularity contest. It's not something we think, but I actually had to look it up. I didn't pay attention to that yesterday. But what I did pay attention to was the overall standings and points. So McLaren has 151 points, Mercedes 93, Red Bull Racing 71, Ferrari in fourth with 57, Haas with 20, which is a huge surprise.
What is happening?
Williams following them with 19, followed by Aston with 10, V-Carb 7, Alpine finally on the board with 6, tied with Kick Sauber with 6. Now, our drivers,
Ooh, excuse me.
we have a, bless you, excuse
Did you guys hear that?
Blessings.
we live. We have a 3-point difference, which it could have been a lot worse if Lando would have finished one place lower than he did if he was P4 instead of P3.
Yeah.
We would have had a tied drivers.
I wanted
Championship.
that so bad.
I kind
I
of
was
did
like,
too.
This will be hilarious.
Two
I kind
number
of did too,
ones.
just to see Zach Brown shit the bed. But we have Lando leading with 77 points, Oscar not too far behind with 74, followed by Max with 69, George 63, Charles Leclerc 32, Kimi Antonelli 30 points, Lewis Hamilton 25, Alex Albon 18, Esteban with 14, Lance Stroll 10, Pierre Gasly 6, Nico Hulkenberg 6, Ollie Behrman 6, Yuki 5, Isaac Hajar 4, and Carlos went with 1, and the rest of them have 0 point. What really matters over all of this is really our F1 standings, so our fantasy
Fantasy
F1
teams.
standings. Y'all want to know what happened?
I'm in the
Yes.
lead, everybody. It's kind of crazy. I'm the only
I
one who
don't-
saw it coming.
I will say from this race, specifically Bahrain Grand Prix, Tim Triad got 108 points in this race.
Well done.
Hey,
Good job.
thank you,
Hennis-
thank you.
Jake is like,
Venkas. Hennis Venkas got 179, and
Let's go.
DRS Siana Grande has 192 just from this race, leading with a total of DRS Siana Grande leading 586 points, closely followed by Hennis Venkas with 541 and Tim Triad with 238. Now, Tim,
Yeah,
We got to talk about it.
we got to talk.
please.
We were looking over your picks, which your picks, no judgment. We watch and we don't
That's
judge.
not
but
how
we
it
do.
sounds when you say we were looking
There
over
is
your.
some judgment in the fact, though, that both of us have said in the group chat to make sure that you don't have an inactive driver on your roster because you will be penalized for it. And
Ah.
who does
Ah.
Tim have in his
Ah.
roster? None other than Yuki Tsunoda. So again,
Oh, shucks,
fuck
guys.
Yuki.
Hey, jeez, got me again. Fuck the FIA. Sorry, pardon my French.
Fuki.
Thanks, Obama.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
Oh my gosh.
I 1000% have dropped the ball on the picks, and like Thursday came around last week, and before I knew it, it was Sunday, you know,
Mhm.
Do
and I
we-
couldn't change anything. What'd you say?
Do we tell him that it's been more than this week, Jake?
Oh no,
Oh.
it was the week before too. I know that.
Oh, okay.
Just the week before, I didn't realize that Yuki was actually inactive because I'm like, oh, Yuki's racing a car in Japan.
Oh,
So-
right.
Or-
I
Anyway,
will
Tim-
adjust this week. I will.
Tim will try.
We just
will
want
better
you
myself.
to succeed. We want you
Thank
to
you.
succeed.
Thank you.
Sure.
You know who else I want to succeed is this box banter section.
Hey,
Because I think we have some.
Please.
Kelly.
We had some. I mean, we have some at this point are recurring. We've got some recurring radios because we've got some characters, but we had some fun ones this week. I want to start with George Russell himself, king of the long runs. Got on the radio, and after the yellow flag, probably he goes 24 laps on a soft. This is pretty audacious.
That was
Audacious. I'm sorry.
But wasn't there a sigh in there too?
Audacious.
Like
Audacious.
Yeah.
oh, geez. This is
It was.
audacious.
We watched it live, and all of us looked at each other like, audacious.
Because you could see the text populate before you could hear the radio call. And then it's not just, this is audacious. This is audacious. Oh.
I just
George.
loved it so much. When he used that word on the radio, I was like, yes. And also, he's literally known for trying to go long or not pit too many times. Like, that's how he has done well in previous races.
He's won races that way.
So it was pretty funny. I enjoyed the irony. Is that what that would be?
Yeah.
Let's say yes.
Okay, let's say yes. Leclerc is back on the radio talking about their secret plans of things and not agreeing again.
Should have gone with Delta.
Not by one letter plan this time. It was
oh
2.
My gosh. I'm just obsessed. Like, we know that there's a B plan, a D plan, Bravo Deltas, Alphas. They've got all of the plans, but they can't seem to figure out. Like, one of the most classic was last year with something where Leclerc is like, Sainz isn't getting a note. And he's like, try it in Spanish. Like, they're just not speaking the same language, like, ever. So Leclerc's engineer comes on, and this was after another radio where Leclerc asked to not box, and his engineer is like, and box this lap for some mediums. Leclerc's like, literally, Delta, please consider it. It's just so funny.
It really is. It's comedic. And it's not comedic for them. Like,
no,
but like, you're not going 200 miles an hour in a car dealing with this. So like, even in the moment for us, it's like, this is hilarious.
To see him call that out and say, no, I want Delta, and see them put hards on his car, knowing that was Bravo, was brutal.
It's like tough shit. Like,
totally. And also, I mean, Ferrari, your very cryptic letter strategies your cover's blown. We already know because you've talked about strategy so many times, and y'all have fought on the radio about it. Okay, there were also like kind of some more serious radios this go round. JV, this is a shout out to Tim. Tim loves James Fowles of the Williams. The Carlos Sainz Williams is being rolled into the garage, and James gets on the radio and has like a very sentimental, responsible take for his retirement. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the tone was just like, this is our responsibility. We will get it right in the future. And the whole thing was very dramatic. In the
it was
middle of the race.
like Churchill, World War II. Like, yeah, I just had this moment where I was like, Churchill, World War I, World War II, Churchill. I'm second guessing myself on the history of the planet, but it was very much so
history.
Oh my God,
history's not me.
I was a musical theater major.
Yeah.
Wait, we're talking about JV and Williams real quick. I saw it was from F1. They were doing an interview with JV, and in walks Albon, like creaks the door, and he's like, "Oh," and like shuts it. He opens it again, and JV is like, "Oh, that's probably Alex. He always comes and uses my restroom before the race." And the interviewer was like, "Oh, that's funny. Carlos Sainz was in here like 10 minutes earlier," and he's like, "I'll see you in 10 minutes." And then JV was like, "Just to clarify, he uses my toilet. He doesn't come in here and, like." It was just a very funny moment. I really am living for their off-track drama as well.
Yeah.
I know Albon is so like fun too.
Yeah. And then he's like in the car and
sassy.
Chihuahua. I
fun
love
and
it.
sassy. We love it. Hamilton had some like, I don't know if they talked to him about his radios, but like he came on also we don't hear all the radios, so let's not even go there. But he was praising the team for they did a double stack pit stop, which is just basically both cars come in back to back, which can be really challenging on the team. And they did a really good job. Hamilton came on and was like, really good pit stop. And then I feel like at the end, he also just shared kind of like sentimental stuff, like good job, really good, not where we want to be, but we're on the right track. We're going to keep pushing. But I think my favorite heartwarming moment was Ollie Behrman's radio. He had the whole garage getting on the radio, congratulating him. He ended in points. He started in 20th, ended in points. His engineer comes on. I think his team principal came on. And then his dad came on and was like, great job, mate. I love you. And it's just like, it was the cutest moment. And he's like, oh my gosh, everyone's on the radio. It was just very touching.
Yeah.
It was very much like those smutty F1 books I read. Everyone at the end
getting on the radio.
It kind of was.
You got this.
Was.
I don't know what 3 clicks is.
But
it
you
kind
have
of
my
was.
heart. But I agree. It was
So
very
cute.
sweet.
His dad is like ultimate racetrack dad too. He's like always there. They show him through the broadcast.
Hashtag track dads.
Literally. The
Track
last
dads.
one is kind of like a segue too. We didn't see a lot of Piastri in the race, but with 10 laps to go in this hot race, Piastri's engineer decides to tell him, remember to use the drink. Piastri says, I would if it was working. And then his engineer's like, oh, right. Only 10 laps left. Anyways,
She'll be done soon.
moving right along.
What is the drink? My Jess
Like
was looking at me like, what is the... I heard them say something about the drink. I'm like, I don't know. Is it their onboard like hydration system?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was just checking in to make sure that he was drinking enough water.
Yeah.
Is that part of the weight of the car though? Do you think like that they have to make sure that
Everything,
that's empty before they weigh everything at the end of the race?
Account. Yeah, but I think they also lose like
They lose like
through
6
sweat.
kilos. Yeah. Something like
they
that.
lose a lot of weight. So they have to, I think their drink system is in their helmet somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I lost 4 pounds on Saturday when I went for that run. So I'm sure it's along the lines.
I guess I should run.
Well, I mean, it's water. It's sweat. It's not like I'm like, you know.
I'm kidding.
Sweat.
Speaking
Kiki.
of having the drink,
Yes.
are we thirsty?
I think you're thirsty.
Think so.
You don't have
I'm
to
a
be
little
thirsty,
thirsty too.
if you stay thirsty. I guess that doesn't make any sense.
Don't have
anyway,
to Don't
we
have
got
to
the
get
spit take.
thirsty.
We're always thirsty. What was it yesterday? I was like, I'm not thirsty. I'm parched.
Right.
And I was like, wait, that's the same thing. Again, musical theater major here. Okay, so let's go back to our favorite,
Beauty.
George.
It's beauty, not brains. Or whatever.
I'm 19. Let's go back to George Russell. Because he's my hydration station of this week, and not in the like I'm thirsty for this, but like I think he's thirsty for this. Like I think he's our parched driver of the week.
Oh.
Because one, I'm here for it, but he's like living for Lando, and I can't decide if it's because he knows that Lando's getting all of this coverage, so like if he inserts himself, he's also a part of that coverage. But I don't know if you guys caught it yesterday, because after the race, we were all like giddy and like running around like kids. But during the cool down room, George just takes off his uniform, which I get it. They're like, this is one of the hottest races of the year. And he like takes off his undershirt and then like zips it back up. But he definitely could have done that like before he entered the cool down room and or before the cool down or after the cool down and before the podium.
He goes,
but he
this,
literally
and then
like purposefully like was like, and then post a photo of Lando Norris like basically nude,
Kind of naked. Yeah.
on Instagram. And mind you, yeah, I lived for that. Like, great, post away. But
They
like,
removed George's mate all season.
why are you posting? Why? I'm here for the picture. Great. But I think George is just a little, again, it's just like a little too much. It's a little too thirsty for, like, just be a safe queen, girl. You're gonna go to the finale. You're gonna lip sync for your life, mama. Just don't
He's
fuck
like
it
kind
up.
of moving in. That's like him. He's like, oh, this is the cool down room. This is my room. I live here now.
Yeah, but I think he's like getting confused the cool down room with like Untucked. Like he is winning the maxi challenges, but like he's not winning this week's challenge. So I need him to reel it in. Okay, you can post more thirst traps of Lando, but like reel in the thirst a little bit. I will say another thirsty driver, and I guess this is not like my thirsty take of the week, but like thirsty in the sense of like you're a snark, is Max Verstappen, which I also live for. Like as much as it was against Lando, I also live for it. He calls him out on the grid box penalty at the start of the race. He's like,
yeah.
Lando's over the grid box.
He's like, everyone, do y'all see that?
Nope.
Or like in Brazil when he's like, Lando shouldn't have gone with the formation lap.
He's playing the shit out of the game.
He literally is just the meme that I sent y'all earlier. It's of him, his face on. I've spacing on the character's name in Game of Thrones, but when she says Joffrey's is a grandmother.
Yes.
And it's Max's face. It says, tell Lando I want him to know it was me. Like, gold.
Live.
But that's also very Max. And I think Max knew he was just not going to be on the podium. So he was like, let me just fuck around.
Let's create some chaos.
So those were my parched drivers of the week. I mean, I'm here for the Lando picture, but I just want to say, I don't think Lando has been featured as a hydration station yet.
He hasn't. I don't think.
Not since preseason at least.
I don't even know if then.
I don't think we even talked about it in preseason.
But
maybe
I
it
will
was mostly
say,
just Kelly and I like teasing the shit out of Jake. Yeah.
Right.
I almost made that picture like this is what we're going to talk about, but I think the backstory is a little bit better.
Right.
And I mean, come on. It really just writes itself.
He's ready with props this week.
All right, Tim, do you have a Tim takes for us this week?
I do. They're not my best. One is, I'll give you the real one first, and I've kind of gotten in a habit of writing a bonus one. So, if you aren't shown winning the race on TV, you do still win the race. That's for Oscar.
That's so good.
I loved it. I loved it.
You like, got it. Thanks. Okay.
Literally last week we were like, you were like, yeah, this was bad, and we were like, no, it was good. And this week you're like, yeah, it's not that great. We're like, no, we love it.
No,
great. Okay, well, I'll stop doubting myself. The second one, this is for all the musical theater nerds. This is also a callback to earlier. The rain in Bahrain stayed mainly, well, it actually didn't rain in Bahrain, but Zach Brown still has 2 number 1 drivers.
Yes.
There we go. So
I'd
also like to say to all 20,000 people, let's just check numbers really quick because I love the data. We are just a whisper away from 19,000 views on that video, and we have lots of comments that we will go back and respond to. Jake, I'm dying to get you in the comment section on all our social media and just saying like, hey, it's Jake. Here's my hot take. And just
if you see a JR by the end of the comment, then you know it was me. How about that? Or no, how about if you see an orange heart, then you know that is me.
I like that. But now I will also post orange heart things, and so will Kelly, and so you guys are just going to have to try to figure it out.
I mean,
thank you to everybody who has been tuning in, who got to the end of this episode with all the skid mark jokes.
Can I stop you real quick?
Please.
I'm going to let you finish. But I have never eaten a papaya before in my life. I didn't even know what one looked like.
We didn't even talk about what this is.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Are you? Y'all are nasty girls.
Wait,
Nasty.
papaya is not a nasty fruit. It tastes amazing.
Girl, it tastes like smelly socks.
Did you eat the part that was on your forehead first? Is that what made you feel?
No, listen. Y'all are nasty. Tim, maybe you're a nasty girl.
So, okay,
You've been
so
a
for
nasty
people
girl.
who have not seen the viral sensation from your Wonderland friends, what we did is with the aforementioned child-sized papaya that Jess and Kelly acquired for this party, cut it in half, found some great audio on TikTok from the Lion King, and we were like, what if we just, baptize Jake with a papaya like Rafiki does with Simba? So we did. And we had to do it in 2 takes, much to Jake's chagrin, but it was still pretty magical. And there's a big old honking chunk of papaya that we slapped on Jake's forehead. So please check it out. Papaya is great. The seeds are weird. They are not capers. I did lie to Kelly's wife and say that they were capers, and she completely bought it.
He does that.
Yeah, but papaya is delicious. Papaya juice is yummy.
Y'all are nasty girls. Take us home.
I'll take it. Mr. Timmy, if you're nasty. All right. Everybody, check us out on Spotify, YouTube, all the places you consume your podcast. Spotify and YouTube are the only places that you can watch us on camera for all of these long episodes and not just our delicious clips that we're pumping out. Please participate in the Q&A feature on Spotify. If you've got questions for us, if you want to see something different, just drop us a comment there. Comment the crap out of YouTube. We are going to be getting the comments on TikTok and Instagram, like we said. Jeddah is going to be a fun course. It's going to be another hot one, most likely. So we'll see how George and his relationship with Pirelli progresses. Yes, Jacob?
Are you going to bring your Jeddah sword?
Oh.
Your lightsaber?
The fact that you called it a sword first makes me not want to. Are you going to bring your Star Wars night sword? Gosh,
Well,
Jake, you sound
you
like
bring
such
your-
a nerd. You don't even know.
You bring your sword and I'll bring my grimoire. How about that?
Okay.
That's from Wicked, if you didn't
The
know.
grimoire.
The
Yeah,
Grimoire.
Like
you
the
would
book.
not know. but
Never
that's
mind.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, that one I'm out. But that's okay. Jeddah's going to be great. Yes, I'll bring my Jeddah Knight lightsaber. Okay.
Love.
A Jedi Knight. There we go. Send this this is the CTA that Jake wrote in our show sheet. Send this to someone who still think Oscar is just the other McLaren driver, or someone who's way too invested in George. I like that. That's a really great CTA. So do that.
I mean, I think we're all kind of too invested with George. We're talking about him a lot.
Yeah,
I
in
was
some of the
gonna
ways,
say,
I feel
I think
kind of
we
like
talked
some
about
Catholic
him-
guilt around like how mean I've been to George.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he's a great driver. He seems like he'd be a perfectly delightful robot person to hang out with.
If you want to come on the podcast, we would love to have you. Oh, I have a microphone for you. You can toss back and forth.
Yeah.
Tops,
and
tops,
you know what?
tops.
Kelly and I could use some lawn care equipment for our homes.
Genuinely. My lawn
And
is
honestly,
bad.
this is one thing. If I can figure out how to procure one of those Adidas cooling jackets just to survive Texas summer as a native Chicagoan, I think that would be pretty neat. That'd be pretty cool.
It'd be pretty audacious.
Audaciously cool.
Okay, the nerds are going wild.
That's
We
it.
gotta get out of
Wearing
here.
an audaciously cool jacket, wielding a Jedi Knight sword. All right. That's enough of us. 3, 2, 1. Bye.
Bye.